everyone, welcome to another installment of Beyond Talk. Today, our topic is CrowdStrike, specifically Beyond Identity's expanded integration capabilities with CrowdStrike. With me, we have the excellent Jordan, and I will hand it off to him to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Jordan Goodyear. I'm the Partner Solutions Architect here at Beyond Identity. I handle a lot of the integrations pieces that we have with our partners like CrowdStrike. So we're going to talk to you today about what that integration looks like and how we've changed it.
I think a good place to start is from an overview high level, right? The notion of integrations within an identity access platform can mean very different things to different vendors. So can you share with the audience how Beyond Identity uses our EDR and XDR integrations?
The use of the attributes essentially that CrowdStrike has means that you're leaning on an existing security solution. And what that does is that really allows you to take the step from detection to prevention, essentially. If you have the ability to look into CrowdStrike for data that you trust and you deem secure, then now we can influence your identity stack and the authentication flow with that trust from their platform.
In my head, I always think of it as like a two-way street. Two-way street, a bidirectional integration, right? We ingest all of this data from trusted sources, take action on them in the form of access control and policy, and then we can also reach back out and say, hey, CrowdStrike, could you please quarantine this device? So we try to establish that bidirectional trust relationship, so to speak.
I agree. The bidirectional trust is a key from the security perspective, where if we're intercepting the identity aspect with CrowdStrike data, telling CrowdStrike what we've done is kind of an important part of that. Right. So it's not just about always getting the data, but it's always working in combination with CrowdStrike to make you more secure at the end of the day.
Let's talk a little bit more about the CrowdStrike integration specifically. So what does this integration allow security and IT teams to do?
Well, really at the core of it, it's not necessarily about CrowdStrike, but CrowdStrike's data, right? Mm-hmm. What we do is our policy engine allows integration to CrowdStrike. So we pull out attributes that CrowdStrike has in their directory, and we use those in the authentication flow. So whether that's the device has CrowdStrike, or the device meets CrowdStrike score, or the device has X, Y, and Z that CrowdStrike monitors, we allow you to use that in policy in our engine to then influence your business rules to make your posture much more secure.
As part of our commitment to security and delivering the most holistic assessments and continuous assessments of device security, we recently released an update to our CrowdStrike integration. And can you share a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah, we basically expanded our attribute set from CrowdStrike. We went from maybe 3 attributes to expanded of 49. And so with the expanded attributes, you now have a broader sense of security. You can now look at finer details in CrowdStrike to determine whether you trust a device for user authentication or not. And with these expanded attributes, we now expand into some enterprise scenarios that weren't available before and allow you to get a posture of security on devices that you trust in your business logic.
Out of the 49 attributes, which is a lot, we now have the #1 most integrated with CrowdStrike identity platform in the world. But it's the precision that I think is really interesting. So could you give us a few examples of the risk attributes that an organization can now set using our integration with CrowdStrike?
Sure, Jing. Yeah, the integration goes pretty deep. You can do things like on the Mac operating system, you can disable remote SSH sessions, which is something that's set by default. And that is maybe a security vector that your security team doesn't work. A lot of the attributes in here also are not in the identity space. They're in that security space. So with things like OS build version in Windows, credential guard roaming is an enterprise feature. There are more attributes available that are deeper within the operating systems that we can now expose for your security needs. Yeah. That integration just doesn't exist anywhere else. In addition to that, this is a continuous process. Our continuous authentication continues to look at these attributes and their freshness every 10 minutes. So it's not a one time the user logs in and these attributes are checked. It is every 10 minutes. We're looking, has the CrowdStrike posture changed? Has some setting in CrowdStrike that CrowdStrike sees changed, and we need to be aware of that? Does that now change the security posture of your device? That's where the real power lies. These attributes allow us to dig deeper into the operating system themselves, and that continuous authentication layers on the top that you have continuous security evaluated for your devices.
Thank you for bringing that up. The continuous enforcement is quite unique to our platform, right? Because misconfigurations happen. Users may also go in and tweak something in their settings. For example, CrowdStrike requires full disk access in order to be able to run the assessments and evaluations that they do. If, for whatever reason, the user disallows full disk access, it's another attribute that we can then enforce as part of our access policy. So I think the fact that organizations can enforce such precise policies via our integrations, and the fact that they can do it not just at time of login and a point-in-time assessment, but do it continuously, makes our platform quite unique. Have you seen this in the market anywhere else?
I haven't. I've had experience with Microsoft and with Okta, and they don't allow third-party integrations here. You can't plug in CrowdStrike to Microsoft's conditional access. There's no third-party plugin. Okta doesn't allow you to influence the identity stream as well. We're the only solution that allows third parties to say yes or no to an authentication based on the devices themselves.
And we think it's pretty cool. And now, we'll show you how to construct these access policies within the Beyond Identity policy engine, focusing specifically on the CrowdStrike risk attributes. Take it away.
So in my admin console here, we're going to show you kind of what the integration looks like from a high level. We can go in and see that we have a number of integrations, but the CrowdStrike integration here, we'll go through and expand on what we've said today about all the pieces of the puzzle, about the devices being there. It gives you all the information about the network containment, the license requirement, all the authentication pieces. It gives you all the supported platforms here as well, that where essentially where CrowdStrike is supported today, and we can partner with them. And then it gets into some of the frequently asked questions, but more importantly, this is really what we're here to talk about, is this attribute set that we have. And you can see we have a number of attributes here. These attributes are not necessarily Windows, they're not necessarily Mac, they're a combination of the two. But we can go through and see we have a number. If we scroll down here, we have 88 attributes in total that we can use from the CrowdStrike service. So again, for preventing drift, you have that ability. We have added some of the new attributes in that are specific to certain features within Windows or within Mac. You have some enterprise grade attributes that you can use now that weren't available before. And you have that ability to, again, get a little bit deeper in that CrowdStrike, lean on CrowdStrike a little bit more to make sure your devices are in a complacent state and a trusted state where your users can continue to authenticate without any problems. And so when we go over to the rules here, this rules engine, our policy engine here, this is really, really where it gets powerful. This is the magic we can take. So if we pull in all those attributes from CrowdStrike on a continuous basis, then this is where the rubber meets the road, where we can now put them in a policy that stops access from the user when that configuration is not perfect. And so if we go in here, I'll show you that we have these on every authentication, essentially, within this Windows environment. We have these CrowdStrike attributes. These attributes, again, we pull directly from CrowdStrike per tenant, so this is not shared with anyone else. And we have all of those available attributes in here. And we do have some recommendations on, making sure the agent is there, making sure that the service is actually working for this device. And then in addition to that, a whole slew of attributes that you as an end user and an administrator, as a business, get to define what exactly is there. So these are all Boolean, true or false. We can say, combination of ZTA score, connection available, is secure boot running in Windows? Is credential guard running there? Is the secure kernel running? We have all of the Windows features that make the device very, very secure. CrowdStrike now looking to see if those are available. Then beyond identity, getting that data, and now being able to determine whether we deny them, whether we set that to monitor. Maybe this is a new rule that we're trying to figure out what it might do, we have that capability in here to go in and deny that access to stop it. And like you've seen from some of the testimonials of our customers, this is where the power comes in, is with the CrowdStrike data on top of our policy engine. Now you have a really, really easy way to protect your users based on the devices that they're using, essentially. And you can have that customized to, again, we have this for every authentication. You could have that set up per application if you wanted to. So you can get super granular with the policy, but the data being available in CrowdStrike is the huge part here, where we now have all of that data that we can lean on CrowdStrike, and that investment into the CrowdStrike security stack we have now comes into play, like I said, in the identity light for the authentications for users. We're going to see the user try to log in here with the account information and the biometric here. That is the lovely biometric that we do on the devices that the PA supplies for us. So you will see that the user doesn't meet the criteria in this case. And in the Falcon sensor and in the PA, we put up a custom message here to go to the IT information for more, the IT group for more information. So again, that customization of the log, in the policy shows up on the user's desktop. And this is a blocked login here. From that perspective, we get a policy denied. They don't get access to that resource. So with that said, they are completely blocked from the service due to a configuration within CrowdStrike that we don't trust anymore, that we've put in a policy that now allows them not to access things until that device is in a trusted state.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this exciting installment of Beyond Talk, where we discussed our expanded CrowdStrike attributes. Thank you to Jordan for being here and showing us around the admin console. If you want to implement this in your environment, reach out to us anytime at beyondidentity.com/get-demo. Join us next time for our next installment of Beyond Talk.